I am Dr. Harpreet Kaur Kohli, Assistant Professor in the Department of Distance Education of Punjabi University, Patiala. I will be teaching the paper on stock market operations of BBA 5th semester. I welcome you all students to this new session. This paper consists of 100 marks, out of which 60 will be based on your external examination and 40 marks will be given on the basis of internal assessment. Now this paper, the purpose of this video is to give you a brief outline of the syllabus of this subject. Since the 1990s, there have been major changes in the world over due to liberalization, privatization and globalization. The economies of the world are now interconnected and now there is global flow of capitals. With the setting up of the stock markets, the companies are able to tap the money of the public, and in this way the companies are able to use this money for production, distribution and selling of goods and products. Now this subject consists of two parts. The syllabus of this subject consists of two parts. The first part deals with the introduction, evolution and growth of the stock markets in India. Now, as you all know, that stock exchanges, they are the platform for public debts and they perform various functions which will be discussed in this section. Now, there are various intermediaries dealing in the secondary market like the brokers, the sub-brokers, the registrars, the custodians, the share transfer agents, etc. The roles of these intermediaries is to connect the people, the investors, to the corporate securities and tap the money for the companies. So the functions and the duties, they will also be discussed in this section. The mechanism of the stock exchange will be explained. The major stock exchanges in India like the BSE, the Bombay Stock Exchange, the NSE, the National Stock Exchange and the OTCI, over-the-counter exchange of India, they all will be explained to you in this section. Their functions, mechanism, trading cycle, settlement cycle will be discussed in detail in this section. Another important topic in this section is regarding the stock market indices. Now the stock market indices, they are the barometer of the changes in the prices of the stock markets and they help us to find out the trends in the movement of the securities. So you will be briefed about the importance, the types and the nature of the stock market indices along with the BSE Sensex and the Standard & Poor CNX Nifty. The stock markets, as we all know, they are the indicators of economic activity of a country. Sometimes the information conveyed by the stock markets is price sensitive, which can have major repercussions for the economy as a whole. As such, there is a requirement of law to regulate the functioning of the stock exchange. So in this section, you will also be taught about the regulatory framework of the stock exchanges, especially the role of SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India. Now SEBI was set up in 1992 in response to the major stock market scam in 1991. Because of this scam, millions of investors, they lost money and the investors, they lost the faith in the stock markets. The stock markets crashed, the Indian stock markets, they crashed and globally India suffered a huge loss in its reputation. So to reform the stock markets and to get back the faith of the investors, the SEBI Act was set up in 1992. The functions, the powers, the duties of SEBI along with the penalties which it can impose in case there is any misappropriation or in case there is any violation in the provisions of the SEBI, they all will be discussed in this section. The section 2 deals with the trading mechanism of the National Stock Exchange. As part of the stock market reforms and with a view to provide transparent and instant dealings in the stock markets, the National Stock Exchange was set up. The National Stock Exchange consists of a central terminal which is connected with all the brokers scattered all over India with the help of the VSAT link. VSAT link is the very small aperture terminal. So geographically, all the brokers, they are connected to the central terminal, and instantly whenever an order is made, the corresponding deal is done and it is recorded in the time in the system. So with this order driven system, it is very easy to do the trade in a transparent manner, and there can be no dispute regarding the quantity, quality, and the type of security which is traded. Now, the settlement cycle of the NSE, the trading mechanism, and the role of the intermediaries, they are discussed. Any person who wants to do trading in NSE, he will have to approach the broker who is registered with the NSE. So thereafter funds are settled, and if there is any shortage or if there is any problem, it will be handled by the provisions of the NSE. So to provide the proper grievance handling, NSE has a proper procedure which you will be taught in this section. There is also an investor protection fund which is maintained by the NSE. So in case there is any discrepancy or any dissatisfaction of any customer, any investor, then this fund is used to redress the grievances of the investors. As part of the electronic trading systems, the depository system was introduced in 1996 under the Depositories Act. The definition of depository, the functions of depository, and the functions of the custodian, the depository participant, they all will be discussed in this section under the Act. The last topic deals with the future market operations. Futures are an integral part of the derivatives market, along with the stock options and index options. The mechanism and the characteristics of futures and options will be deliberated upon in this section. So this was a brief outline about the paper in stock market operations. I hope you will go through this and you will be able to get an insight about what all you have to study in this paper. Thank you, students.